Building the sets for the film was all very well, but what about the special effects? How low can you go and still afford to scare people?
Approaching the special effects was something we left to really late in the project, and between Dante and myself we decided that the most appropriate on a low budget was to try and do everything practically and to basically ham it up. So rather than go for horrific realism like you might get in a Wolf Creek or a Saw, it's like, no, we'll go more for cheesy fun. That was the impact we wanted to have with the film. That was the sort of film we wanted to make, one where there's Kill Bill style sprays of blood coming out of severed limbs and all that sort of stuff.
Brian coming in. Brian's in.
Saving Brian.
So, you know, we had garden hoses spraying blood against walls and people's arms dropping off.
Oh.
When people get shot, there's like a hose of blood that sprays out of their chest and all that kind of stuff. We weren't going for, in any way, shape or form, realism. We were going for something reasonably spectacular and fun.
Booming voices. Booming voices. If we can get some jogging. You jogging up.
Ramp up the blood.
When I first read the script and I was saying to Daniel, like, this is really great, but like a head in a jar, that's just a bit weird, you know? And he goes, well, there's a lot of films that have similar kind of weird angles to it, but if you just take it seriously, then it will work.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you just kind of inhabit the character and inhabit the world of the character, and suddenly you're not being sprayed with chocolate sauce from a hose. You're actually being sprayed with human blood from someone you've just killed, and that's like doing Star Trek or something like that. You're sitting there having a conversation with a guy with a crab on his forehead.
We got two guys, Ash and Chris, in to help us with the special effects.
Wave to the camera.
They'd recently done a special effects workshop with a friend of mine who's a very experienced special effects technician. It's what he does for a living. And they'd picked up a few hints, and each had a little bit of experience in various fields. Chris mainly as a puppeteer, Ash doing a lot of the gory kind of stuff involving garden hoses and air compressors and chocolate sauce with some red food dye in it.
You'll do anything to get into the Paralympics.
That's right.
And if you thought this all looked like an episode of Mythbusters, then meet their version of Buster the Crash Test Dummy.
A friend of mine made it for another friend of mine's film that was directed by Jamie Blanks. Boris gets shot in the stomach and his intestines fall out. And we didn't use the face because it's actually, it looks like the actor from the film because it was modelled after him. One of our extras happened to have a cast of his own head, so he brought that in and we ripped his head off and threw it against a wall. So that was fun. This is how we approached the special effects. It was again a question of being resourceful, getting what we could for free, borrowing what we could from people we knew, and then spending as little money as possible on the rest of it, hopefully without compromising the effect we were going for.
The main cost is just keeping things running. So look, food has been a really big thing. I mean, running coffee and food and Dante's expenses and production designer. We've had Steadicam running on here, so we've been very fortunate to have Glenn come on as a Steadicam operator, so that's been awesome. We built the dolly, we built the tracking system. We've employed a great idea of wok cam, which I actually saw used on a Ghost Rider or something like that, which was actually just apple boxes and shot bags with a wok, sitting the camera on a shot bag in the wok and using the tilt of the wok.
Back to 1080i, 25p.
So it has been working. We've been able to build sets, we've been able to download, we've been able to shoot, we've been able to light, we've been able to sound, we've been able to do everything we can, do rough assemblies as we're going, continue training for actors.
Good. Hit first for you. Hit. Good. Hit. That's the one. That's it.
Come in for a shoot and I'd be told things like, all right, well, you go over here and you push her there and you stand there, and then she's going to punch you in the balls. There is no wrestler look. You think there is. I mean, there's a stereotypical wrestler look of the really big, solid guy in the mask and the tie. But when you see some of the stuff we've seen, anyway, there's all kinds of body shapes. Like Blake, who is he a midget or a dwarf? I know there's a distinction, but I don't know what it is.
I think he's a midget because they've said
The short-statured actor.
Yeah, a short-statured actor who is also a wrestler.
That is perfect.
I've been able to feed everybody, accommodate people where necessary, shower them at my place, do whatever they can. I've had departments running in my house. I've had special effects and construction department running out of my garage until we got this warehouse about 2 months ago, and I've been able to move them down into here. I mean, I've learnt skills well over and beyond what I thought I would, just from doing it the hard way. And I'm no advocate, I'm not trying to advocate doing it the hard way, but you get a fair bit out of it. You definitely get a fair bit out of it.